back with value creation session, and I'm Imran Jitala, and we have a very special guest with us for this discussion, Mr. Malik Ahmed Jalal. He is CEO of Aman Foundation, one of the largest impact organization in Pakistan, and they're doing some amazing work in healthcare and vocational training. Thank you very much, Malik, Mr. Malik, for joining us, and we also have Mr. JJ with us for this panel. So, Mr. Malik, what is your take on the value creation for businesses, especially the human development part, the value creation in human development?
Thank you very much for having me, and thank you, Oktara, for such a fabulous global event here in Karachi. My view of development is there is only one resource that needs to be developed. There is no other resource in the world, and that is the human resource. Everything else comes to an end. Whether it's oil, whether it's gold, it runs out. But the human resource is the only resource that when you develop, it actually grows, it actually multiplies. So all forms of value creation have to be around the human-centric growth and developing human beings. We come from a culture, we come from a nation where unfortunately we put far more emphasis on real estate, hard physical things, property, those kind of things. But we don't put that much emphasis on developing people. We don't put that much emphasis on developing good value system. So whenever I think of value creation, I think about how can I add value to people in a system, to an organization. So I have a model for when I look at organizational needs and how do you develop values. And it goes like people, process, values. So when you're a small startup organization, you're dependent on people, the right people. So if you're the right person or you're the right person in a startup, then it will grow much more because everyone has to work hard, and getting the right person is the most important thing. If you get the wrong person, you will not be able to grow that much because the organization is in an early stage. So make sure you find the right person and make sure you invest and develop them. The best example of a place that does that very well is the Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley, they do the most amount of due diligence when they are investing. Is Imran Jitala the right person to invest in? They'll call up your neighbors, they call up your people you work with, and then they try to figure out you're the right person to invest in, because the bet on the person is the most important bet that they take. It's not about the concept, it's not about the product, it's about the person, because the concept will change, and if you bet on the right person, then of course, inshallah, the business will prosper. And so you have to bet on the right person, and then you have to enable them to grow. So the concept of mentoring and the concept of helping them with the connectivity with the right organizations is very, very important. And so you go to Silicon Valley and you're very heartened that you meet people and say, okay, how can I help you? How can I connect you with XYZ person? And that's it's a very supportive, it's a very encouraging atmosphere. So first, I think if you think about value creation, is think about the person and how can you help them grow. I have another view on it, so that's one element of it. The other element of what I think is of that same part of value creation on when you look at human beings is, we as human beings are going through three parallel journeys in our life. Mm-hmm. Three parallel journeys. When we grow up and we grow till the time of death, the three journeys. The one is what I call the physical journey, the material journey, which we know I'm sitting here, I have a physical existence, I'm wearing this nice suit, versus I'm wearing a cheap suit, or versus I'm wealthy or not. That's the material wealth, material journey, material value creation. And that is the one that we most focus on, that is the one we most strive towards, that is the most we are aware of and we are judged by. Yeah, this person is rich, this person is successful because he has that such and such car. This is the most visible, and yet this is the least important. There is another journey that we're going through in our life, which is the journey, intellectual journey. The journey of ideas, the journey of the mind. We human beings, al-ashraful makhluqat, in a way we are superior beings to animals, is because not of a physical strength, but also because of an intellectual strength. And I think that is very, very important, that an individual grows intellectually, grows in terms of ideas, grows in terms of maturity of the intellect. This is the second level of existence and the journey that is. And the third level is what I call the spiritual journey. Now, that is the least talked about, that is the least mentioned, and yet the most important and actually the most powerful thing is the journey of the spirit. As spiritual beings, there is this journey that we're going through, and we are all going through, and we're evolving as human beings, and our human evolution is that of the spirit. So, the way I can relate you to normal journey, ordinary and normal day life is what we call the purpose, the meaning of life, the meaning of work. Now we have the world of millennials, and they say, yeah, it's not about the money, it's about meaning, it's about purpose. So when they're talking about that, they're talking about the spirit. They're talking about my spiritual fulfillment. So when you look at growth and the value creation of a human being, you're talking about the both physical, he has to grow materially, he has to provide for his family, intellectually, ideas, and also spiritually, purpose, meaning in this. And I think organizations now, a lot of time now, Unilever and a big organization are not able to attract the best talent because they are not able to frame their work in meaning, in terms of purpose, the spirit element of it. And of course, their CEO, Paul Polman, who's quite a revolutionary person, he's now framing it that the purpose of Unilever is just more than making soaps and making shampoo. So I think that is the one element, as I said, the focus on the human being and his own physical, his own mental, and his own spiritual journey through life. And organizations now, it's not enough that I pay you well enough and you've got to work hard. You have to grow people intellectually and you have to grow people emotionally.
So from what I hear you say, understand is value creation with regards to the human resource development, creating value in the human resource. But in company jargon, there's always talk about value addition. Perhaps this is a totally different direction in terms of adding value to a product, adding value to a service. Is there a difference between value creation and value addition?
It's absolutely the same thing. In fact, I always see any problem as a human solution, human resource problem. Either you have the wrong person for doing the job, or you have the wrong person you have the right person facing the wrong incentive alignment. Because if you think about it, if you think about value addition is a subject of what your resources that you have and the problem solving, and you're going to solve a problem. Who's going to do that? Machine can't do that. To some stage, machine may be able to do that, but at this stage, it's about the human being. So if you have the right person with the right incentive structure, the right person with the right capability, right material incentive, the right mindset, and the right purpose, he will be able to add value, solve a problem, and add value to a product. So ultimately, whatever we see in the world, whether we see this chair that we sit in, everything has been created by a human being, has been value added by a human being. And so it is all about, I'm sorry, I just take a very human-centric view of all problems, that if you work on people, you will solve all problems. Hamara bhi, we are an organization, which is Aman Foundation, which solves social problems of Pakistan. So how do I frame my problems? I frame my problems as we are working on vocational training and ambulances and healthcare. So I say to myself, the problem that I'm working in is how do I get a good talent of Pakistan to work on the social problems of Pakistan? How do I attract a person to leave a McKinsey or a Unilever to come and work at Aman? Because I know if I get the right person, the right ideas, he'll solve the problem. So how do I get that person who will be able to solve the problem? And if I have the right person, then he will be able to solve that. So definitely there is no difference between the process of value creation, the actual value creation, the monetary, and the addition and the value creation to human beings.
Can you give us some examples, success examples of value creation in human resources in Aman Foundation?
First thing is, I think our education system is not very up to the requirement. I think we don't produce, we say we have a lot of talent, but talent without going through the right rigorous process is not the right, is not deployable talent. You can't use it for that purpose. So when we started, we said is that we started a management training program called the Aman Leaders Program, which is a 18-month 2-rotation program with training initially on financial modeling, with training on culture, teamwork, collaboration, and then 2 different rotations. And the purpose of that was, the purpose of that was to build human beings, young people who eventually will be social sector entrepreneurs.
Okay.
So unlike management training programs of the corporate sector, we are interested in people who want to be, who are interested in solving social problems and become social entrepreneurs. And so a lot of the people who have graduated from us have stayed with us, but also have gone on to go and do other social enterprises. There's a gentleman who runs something called the Clinic 5, which is a series of clinics, low-cost clinics in Karachi, and he's a graduate of our program.
And what kind of obstacles or challenges would you face in this whole process?
The biggest challenge that we face is now let me tell you what is better. This better is the young people, the millennials, unlike us, we ran after brands. I am going to be Reckitt Benckiser, Unilever. If I get a job, I'm not going to question myself. I'm going to go and do that. They're multinational. So and Aman Foundation cannot compete with that. Most of the startups can't compete with that. Thank goodness that the new millennials who think differently, they are the ones who are say, hey, wait a second, what is the purpose of it? What is the purpose of my life? What is my service?
But that is good.
That is a good thing. So that's a very good thing that is happening, and we stand a chance of it. The number two element of it is, I think, which I find is, and I come from the vocational training background, is companies do not invest in the training and development of anything but their mid to senior level staff. They're hesitant to do that. They don't see value of it. But let me speak more specifically about your floor, factory level floor mechanic, floor supervisors and all those. Frontline staff, I think your customer services staff, which you serve in your retail outlets. And I think that is where Pakistan's competitiveness is weak, because our industry doesn't invest in skills, in the right values, in the right technical skills training of that. Our labor is not competitive. And as I always say, in a 10,000 organization, 5,000 organization, you need one person like me. And you will be able to get one person like me. But you need 1,000 people who are skilled workers. And if they don't have the right discipline, they don't have the right training, then you will not be competitive, and you need more of these people. And I think that is the biggest challenge that we see. And the thinking is, it's a numbers game, I need 500 people, if I train them, they will go. As someone said, what if you don't train them and they stay? That was the question, someone said that. And that's where I think as a country, as a nation, we need to invest much more in skills development and also training and development of your low-tier management staff and your frontline staff.
And do you see any interest on the part of the employee to also look at his own, value addition?
So one thing, I'll tell you my own personal story is that once I was very complaining, once I was working very hard on a certain project and I was not getting any support. Yeah? So I was working very hard and weekends, nights, everything. And then what happened was, and then I complained to my senior boss, who's my mentor, and he said, look, remember one thing. What you do, what you work will stay with you. So even if you're not getting recognized, if you're not getting the support, remember it's changing who you are. And you will, whether you get recognized for it at this organization or the next organization, nobody can take that away from you. Unfortunately, I think a lot of time the culture, the mindset is people work and people think that they're working for someone else. So if you're my boss, I'm saying, well, I'm working for you, but if I work too hard, I'm not going to get much out of it, and you're going to get all the value out of it. But what they don't realize is the work that you do, the value you create is changing you. That's why Karl Marx was so much important on the labor of it, because you spend more time of your life working and how it changes you. And if you work hard, you will be recognized for that, and you will get paid, you will get remunerated for that. In the Quran it says, you will not get paid, you will not get compensated for anything that you don't deserve. It's in the Quran that whatever you work, you will get compensated for. But somehow people feel that working hard will make someone benefit and not themselves. And I think that is a big mindset change that we need to happen. It says you work ultimately for yourself, even if you're an employee, and whatever value you create or whatever hard work you create will benefit you, and your reward, you will be rewarded, whether it's in this organization or the next organization.
That is again a challenge to explain that part, because normally people see that I do a lot of hard work, but at the end of the day you promise that there will be a certain value to my emoluments or a certain increase in that in my own life, but it doesn't happen, you see.
No, so
The
that is
culture
that is where the spirit element comes. So if you have that value mindset of purpose and objective, then you have a core belief that your work in essence is yours and you will be rewarded for it. Whether it is here or next job or whatever, it will, nobody can take that away from you. You will get rewarded. That has always been my firm
Matter of
belief.
faith, you know.
It's a matter of faith. It's a matter of belief system. You will-
And, how you these learnings that you are developing in an impact organization can be used by mid-sized businesses in Pakistan to create more value and contribute towards economic development?
You know, I think, again, as I said, business is very important because businesses grow, they create wealth, they create jobs,
Yeah.
they create taxes, and the countries grow. So Pakistan has to focus on businesses, particularly SMEs. You know, Pakistan
Yes.
doesn't focus on that. I think the way to do it, and I feel that there is some way where entrepreneurs and sponsors don't get the bigger picture, is they should have a merit-based system in an organization, a very transparent and very mechanism. One of the first things that I did at Aman, I applied something called the Hayes methodology to create an internal grading system. We did an external comp benchmarking, and we gave it very transparent. If you, this is your progression through an organization. This is the minimum time. This is the maximum time it will take you, and this is an evaluation system. So I think organizations have to be purely merit-based, not biradari or kinship. That kind of organization, as you said, the Western capitalist system, a lot of it, you know, I not know the system is perfect, is based on merit, number one. Number two is, I think, is equity ownership. I think equity is very important. Ownership of an organization only comes when people know that you have an ownership and it goes up, and also then you have an ownership when you go down. So when organizations go into trouble, and then everyone bails out except the one person at the top who holds 100% of the equity. And now he owns 100% of zero value because he hasn't built the team. And I think equity is very powerful if you have the right person who have the right value system, the right skill set. Give equity, share equity, even if you what you call vest over a period of time, do that. I think if you do it, you create a team, then you will be able to move forward. So, you know, coming to the end in that point is that in Silicon Valley, they will not back single owner sponsor companies. They will not. Most of the time they will say we want 4 founders, because that is what it takes to scale to $100 million business. It doesn't take anything less than that. We don't do that. We just rely on one person. We try to keep equity. If you have the right person, the right value alignment, give equity, share equity, and I think that is the value system we should espouse.
Thank you very much. I think it's been a very enlightening, situation that you have shared with us, and it's very kind of you to have come across and give us your time and your thoughts.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
very
Pleased
much.
to be here.